Ladies, listen carefully, because this is where so many people get it wrong. People think if a man pulls away, the answer is to call more, text more, explain more, prove more, and hold tighter. But life teaches something different. Stop chasing and create space. One of the biggest mistakes people make in relationships is believing that effort and chasing are the same thing. They are not. Effort builds connection. Chasing destroys balance. When you constantly run after someone, constantly initiate every conversation, constantly try to fix every silence, and constantly make yourself available, you slowly remove the natural space where attraction and appreciation grow. Think about it for a moment. If someone never gets the chance to miss your presence, how will they truly recognize your value? If every moment of distance is immediately filled by your texts, your explanations, your emotional energy, then the relationship starts becoming one-sided without either person noticing. Creating space does not mean becoming cold. It does not mean ignoring someone, playing games, or pretending not to care. Space is not punishment. Space is confidence. It means understanding that connection should move in both directions. A lot of people fear space because they think silence means losing someone, but silence does not always mean loss. Sometimes silence reveals things. It shows who reaches out. It shows who notices your absence. It shows who values the connection enough to make effort too. When somebody pulls away, your first reaction may be to hold tighter. You want answers. You want reassurance. You want certainty. That feeling is human. But acting from panic rarely creates closeness. Imagine watering a plant every minute because you're afraid it will dry out. Eventually, too much attention becomes pressure. Relationships can work the same way. Constant checking, constant reaching, and constant emotional chasing can leave no room for natural connection. Creating space means staying connected to yourself. Keep your routines, keep your goals, keep your friendships, keep your interests. Keep becoming the person you were before the relationship became your main focus, because the moment your entire emotional world starts depending on another person's attention, you begin giving away your power without realizing it. And people can feel that energy when someone sees that your happiness rises and falls entirely based on their messages, calls, or presence. They stop feeling invited into your life and start feeling responsible for carrying it. But when they see you living fully, staying grounded, continuing your growth, something changes. You become attractive in a different way, not because you became unavailable, but because you became complete. People often think the secret is saying less or acting distant. No, the secret is needing less external validation. You don't need to announce your value. You don't need to convince someone to stay. You don't need to explain your worth repeatedly. If somebody is interested, they will make room. If somebody cares, they will show effort. And if they don't, chasing usually does not create feelings that weren't already there. Space creates clarity. It allows both people to feel what the relationship actually means. And during that space, your job is not to wait by the phone. Your job is to continue becoming stronger, happier, and more fulfilled, because confidence says, I enjoy your presence, but my life doesn't stop when you step away. That energy changes everything. When you stop chasing, you stop exhausting yourself trying to control outcomes. You stop forcing conversations. You stop carrying relationships alone. And you start creating room for something better, mutual effort, real interest, and genuine connection. Protect your peace and self-respect. One thing people learn too late in relationships is that love should never cost you your peace. Caring about someone is natural. Wanting connection is natural. Wanting to feel chosen is natural. But the moment you begin sacrificing your self-respect just to keep someone close, the relationship slowly starts taking more from you than it gives. Too many people think love means endless tolerance. They believe if they stay patient enough, understanding enough, available enough, eventually they will be appreciated. But respect does not grow because you accept everything. Respect grows when people see that your kindness has boundaries. Protecting your peace does not mean becoming difficult. It does not mean acting proud or refusing compromise. It means understanding that your emotional stability matters too. There's a difference between working through challenges and constantly abandoning yourself. If somebody speaks to you disrespectfully and you excuse it every time because you're afraid they'll leave, something changes inside you. If somebody only shows up when convenient and you continue accepting less than what you need, something changes inside you. If somebody repeatedly confuses inconsistency with love and you stay silent because you don't want conflict, something changes inside you. Little by little, you begin teaching yourself that keeping people is more important than honoring yourself. And eventually, That becomes exhausting because now you're not only trying to maintain a relationship, you're trying to survive inside it. Self-respect starts with simple decisions. You say what you mean. You communicate directly. You stop over-explaining your needs. You stop apologizing for having standards. You stop shrinking yourself to fit somebody else's comfort. A powerful person understands something important. If expressing basic needs drives someone away, the problem was never the need. People who value you may not always agree with you, but they will not require you to lose yourself to keep their attention. Protecting your peace also means refusing to chase clarity from people who create confusion. Some people keep relationships alive through uncertainty. One day they're close. The next day they disappear. Then they return when they want comfort. And the cycle repeats. When your peace is protected, you stop participating in emotional chaos. You stop treating mixed signals like hidden messages. You stop trying to decode every delayed reply. You stop turning inconsistency into potential. Instead, you observe actions. You believe patterns. You trust what people repeatedly show. That mindset changes your energy because now your attention is no longer focused on earning love. It becomes focused on recognizing healthy love. And there's something attractive about people who protect their peace, not because they are unavailable, but because they are emotionally stable. They don't react to every change. They don't panic during silence. They don't lose themselves trying to hold relationships together. They remain calm, they remain clear, they remain themselves. And that energy creates respect. People begin understanding that access to your life comes with care, consistency, and mutual effort. You no longer reward confusion with unlimited patience. You no longer mistake emotional struggle for emotional depth. You understand that peace is not boring. Peace is secure. Peace is healthy. Peace is strength. Self-respect means being able to care deeply while still walking away from situations that repeatedly drain you. It means saying, I want connection, but not at the cost of myself. It means understanding that your standards are not walls. They are protection. And when you protect your peace and maintain your self-respect, something powerful happens. You stop asking people to choose you. You start choosing yourself. Stay emotionally balanced, not available all the time. One of the most misunderstood ideas in relationships is the difference between being caring and being constantly available. Many people believe that showing love means responding immediately, always being present, always adjusting, always saying yes, and always putting the other person first. At first, it can feel generous and loving, but over time, if there is no balance, that kind of behavior can quietly turn into emotional dependence. Being emotionally balanced means your feelings do not control your decisions. It means you care deeply without losing perspective. It means somebody's mood does not become your mood. It means somebody's attention does not become your identity. A lot of people think attraction disappears because of time, but often attraction changes because the balance disappears. One person becomes the center of everything while the other becomes comfortable receiving all the effort. When somebody knows they can reach you every second, interrupt every plan, receive endless emotional reassurance, and never need to contribute equally, the relationship can lose something important: mutual investment. Now understand this clearly. Being emotionally balanced is not about pretending not to care. It is not about waiting hours to reply. It is not about creating confusion. It is not about becoming emotionally unavailable. That's not confidence, that's avoidance. Balance means your life remains full whether somebody is texting you or not. You continue learning, you continue building, you continue enjoying your day, you continue investing in yourself. Because relationships are supposed to add to your life, not become your entire life. One of the strongest positions you can have is emotional steadiness. When things feel good, you stay grounded. When things feel uncertain, you stay grounded. When somebody becomes distant, you stay grounded because your emotions are informing you, not controlling you. People notice this energy. Someone who is emotionally balanced does not panic every time communication changes. They do not assume silence means rejection. They do not create stories in their mind. They communicate clearly and then allow space for responses. That kind of calm becomes attractive because it creates safety. Think about how exhausting it is when somebody constantly needs reassurance. Every delayed reply becomes a problem. Every small change becomes a discussion. Every disagreement becomes a crisis. Eventually, relationships become less about connection and more about emotional management. Balance changes that. You stop asking questions like, why didn't they reply yet? Did I say something wrong? Do they still feel the same? And you start asking, Am I still honoring my own life? Am I staying connected to my goals? Am I expecting another person to create my emotional security? That shift changes everything. Emotionally balanced people understand that availability should come from desire, not fear. You answer because you want to. You show up because you choose to. You support because you care, not because you're afraid distance means loss. And there's something powerful that happens when somebody realizes they don't automatically get unlimited access to your energy. They become more intentional. They value your time more. They recognize that your attention is meaningful because it isn't coming from desperation. You are present, you are loving, you are supportive, but you are not abandoning yourself to maintain closeness. You know when to engage. You know when to rest. You know when to focus elsewhere. You understand that constant access is not the same as deep connection. Real connection comes from two complete people choosing each other, not from one person constantly making themselves available, hoping they will be chosen. And when your emotions become balanced instead of reactive, your presence feels different. It feels peaceful. It feels confident. It feels valuable because people can sense the difference between someone who enjoys connection and someone who depends on it. Focus on your own growth and happiness. One of the most attractive things a person can have is not perfection, beauty, attention, or even popularity. It is purpose. There is something powerful about someone who continues growing, learning, improving, and enjoying life regardless of who enters or leaves it. People are naturally drawn toward energy that feels alive, but many relationships begin with a quiet mistake. Someone meets a person they care about and slowly starts moving their entire world around that connection. Their schedule changes. Their goals become smaller. Their hobbies disappear. Their excitement for personal growth fades without realizing it. They begin waiting for happiness instead of creating it. And that changes everything because relationships work best when two people bring full lives together, not when one person slowly gives theirs away. Focusing on your own growth does not mean becoming selfish. It does not mean ignoring people. It does not mean acting like you do not need love. It means understanding that your identity should remain bigger than your relationship status. Your dreams still matter. Your routine still matter. Your personal development still matters. Your future still matters. Sometimes people believe making someone your whole world proves love, but often it creates pressure. No one wants to feel responsible for being another person's only source of excitement, confidence, or fulfillment. That weight eventually changes the dynamic. But when somebody sees you actively building your life, something different happens. Your conversations become richer. Your energy becomes lighter. Your confidence becomes quieter and stronger. You stop bringing need into every interaction and start bringing presence. Growth creates attraction because growth creates movement. Think about people who inspire you. Most of the time, it is not because they have perfect lives. It is because they continue becoming. They remain curious, they remain engaged, they continue improving. That energy feels magnetic. The same thing happens in relationships. When you are focused only on being chosen, every moment becomes emotional. Every message feels important. Every interaction becomes a test. But when you are focused on your own growth, relationships become part of your life, not your entire identity. You stop measuring your worth by attention. You stop needing constant reassurance. You stop asking yourself whether someone is interested enough. You become interested in your own direction. That shift changes your presence. Now your days have meaning outside the relationship. You wake up with goals, you build skills, you create experiences, you invest in things that make you proud, and something unexpected happens. You become more interesting. Not because you tried to impress anyone, but because fulfilled people naturally bring more energy into conversations and relationships. Happiness works in a similar way. Many people think happiness arrives after love. They think, when I find the right person, I'll feel complete. But healthy relationships are usually built by people who already know how to create joy in their own lives. They do not expect another person to repair emptiness. They invite another person into something that already has meaning. That mindset protects you, because if somebody becomes distant, your world does not collapse. If plans change, your identity remains. If relationships end, your ability to enjoy life continues. You understand that happiness is something you participate in creating. And when people notice that you enjoy your own life, they often want to become part of it. Not because you chase them, not because you convince them, but because your energy communicates something powerful. It says, I care about connection, but I also care about becoming who I'm meant to become. That message changes relationships because growth creates confidence, confidence creates peace, and peace creates attraction. When you focus on your own growth and happiness, you stop becoming someone who waits to be completed. You become someone who is already becoming complete. Let actions speak louder than explanations. One of the hardest lessons people learn in relationships is that words can create hope, but actions reveal reality. Many people stay emotionally exhausted because they spend too much time listening to promises and not enough time observing patterns. They keep trying to explain their value, explain their intentions, explain their feelings, hoping that if they say the right thing at the right time, everything will finally become clear. But real connection rarely grows through endless explanation. It grows through consistent action. There is a moment in many relationships where talking becomes a substitute for change. Someone says they care. Someone says they are trying. Someone says they will do better. Someone says they miss you. And those words can feel comforting. But eventually there comes a point where the strongest message is not another conversation. It is behavior, because actions remove confusion. People who care make effort. People who value connection create time. People who respect you show consistency. That does not mean people become perfect. Everyone gets busy. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has difficult seasons. But patterns matter more than promises. A person who truly values you does not rely only on explanations. They create experiences that match their words. And this idea applies to you too. Sometimes people believe they must constantly prove themselves through talking. They explain why they deserve attention. They explain why they are different. They explain why they should be appreciated. But confidence works differently. Confidence allows your behavior to communicate. Instead of saying you value yourself, you maintain standards. Instead of saying you deserve respect, you act like someone who expects respect. Instead of saying you have boundaries, you follow them. People pay attention to actions because actions feel real. Anyone can say they are loyal. Anyone can say they are serious. Anyone can say they are ready. But daily choices reveal character, and relationships become healthier when you stop trying to decode speeches and start observing reality. Another thing happens when you rely less on explanations. You become calmer. You stop arguing with reality. You stop convincing people to see what they do not want to see. You stop repeating your needs over and over. You express yourself clearly, and then you observe. If someone listens, great. If someone changes, great. If someone repeatedly ignores what matters to you, that tells you something too. Not every situation needs another conversation. Sometimes the answer is already visible in behavior. People often fear this because actions can feel final. Words leave room for imagination. Docs create clarity, but clarity protects your peace. And here is something important. Letting actions speak louder does not mean becoming silent. It does not mean suppressing emotions. Communication matters, honesty matters. But once you have communicated honestly, there comes a moment where your energy should move toward observation instead of endless explanation. Say what you mean what you say, then allow people to respond with their choices. That approach changes your presence. You stop chasing understanding. You stop negotiating your worth. You stop performing for approval. Your standards become visible without speeches. Your boundaries become visible without threats. Your confidence becomes visible without announcements. And people feel the difference. Because there is quiet strength in someone who does not constantly need to explain themselves. They trust that their actions, consistency, and choices will communicate what matters. Over time, those people create stronger relationships. Not because they say more, but because their words and actions match, and they expect the same in return. That is when relationships stop becoming about promises and start becoming about trust. Because trust is never built by what people say they feel. Trust is built by what people repeatedly choose to do. Become unforgettable through confidence, not pressure. A lot of people believe being unforgettable means being louder, trying harder, giving more attention, becoming more available, or doing everything possible to stay in someone's mind. But that idea usually creates the opposite effect. Pressure pushes people away. Confidence leaves an impression. There is a difference between being noticed and being remembered. Being noticed can happen quickly. Being remembered happens because of how someone felt around you. People rarely remember who texted the most. They remember who made them feel calm. They remember who respected themselves. They remember who brought good energy into the room. They remember who stayed genuine without trying to force connection. Confidence creates that effect. And confidence is not perfection. It is not acting superior. It is not pretending you never care. Confidence is quiet certainty. It is the ability to say, I know my value even when someone else cannot see it right now. When people become afraid of losing someone, they often begin performing. They overgive, they overexplain. They become available at every moment. They try to become impossible to leave. But ironically, the harder someone tries to hold on, the more pressure enters the relationship because connection grows best where there is freedom. Think about the people who leave a lasting impression in life. Usually they are not the people demanding attention. They are the people who are fully present when they are with you and fully okay when they are alone. That energy feels rare. That energy feels secure, and security creates attraction. Becoming unforgettable through confidence means learning not to force outcomes. You stop trying to make people understand your worth. You stop trying to compete for attention. You stop measuring your value through responses, compliments, or validation. Instead, you become focused on showing up as your best self. You become someone who listens, someone who communicates honestly, someone who respects others, someone who respects themselves, someone who keeps their word. Those qualities last longer than intensity. Another mistake people make is thinking mystery means acting unavailable. No, real confidence is not disappearing to create interest. Real confidence is remaining authentic without becoming dependent. You answer when you want to. You connect when it feels healthy. You enjoy relationships without making them your identity. That creates a different kind of presence. People feel relaxed around confident individuals because there is no pressure to perform. There is no emotional chasing. There is no constant need for reassurance. There is simply connection. And here is something important. People remember how you handle difficult moments. Anyone can appear attractive when everything is easy, but confidence becomes visible during uncertainty. When communication changes, do you panic? When plans change, do you lose yourself? When someone pulls away, do you abandon your standards? Or do you remain respectful, calm, and connected to who you are? Those moments create lasting impressions because emotional stability is memorable. People return to people who made life feel lighter, not heavier, not because they were perfect, not because they never made mistakes, but because their presence felt healthy. Pressure says, stay or I'll lose myself. Confidence says, I enjoy having you here, but I'll continue becoming myself either way. That energy changes relationships because now your attention is no longer focused on controlling feelings. It is focused on creating meaningful experiences. You stop becoming unforgettable through intensity. You become unforgettable through character, through peace, through consistency, through self-respect, through emotional strength. And whether someone stays, leaves, or returns, your confidence remains. Because being unforgettable was never about making someone unable to forget you. It was about becoming someone who never forgets their own worth.